What are y'all doing? Well, good morning from the greenhouse. I am working on more of the collard greens. You know, a couple of days ago, I put out a whole row of the flash collard green starts that I had in the trays, and you can see I still have a bunch more. And I have an empty row here and one empty row over there. So today I'm going to finish filling up this row down to the kale down there and try to get some collard greens over there harvested and get them in the freezer today. So got a little bit of work to do today, and while I am putting some collard greens in the ground, I thought I would tell you a story about how I ended up learning how to grow my own food. Let's go turn on the water. And while the ground is getting wet enough for me to dig in, I'll tell you the story. I knew that I had watered in here, but this part of the ground is really dry. And so apparently the reason it's so dry is because I had the valve turned off. Y'all, I've not watered this kale at all. I guess it's just been getting water from out of the ground. I don't know. But let's let it get a little bit wet, and I'll sit here and tell you the story while we're waiting. So I grew up on a farm. It was, I think, about 180 acres from what I remember. And I grew up driving the tractor, pulling fences, doing all the things that a little farmer girl grows up doing. And it was just a way of life. We grew our own food. We had our own meat processed. We did it right there on the farm. We didn't have anyone to do it for us. So yes, I do know how to do that. And it's not something that I mind doing. So when I got grown, I got married, had children, and become a nurse. Forgot a lot of the things that I was taught as a child growing up. And yes, I did kind of steer away from growing vegetables and decided that it was so much easier to buy my food from the grocery store. Well, that's not the healthy choice, in my opinion. But that's what I decided to do. And here I am nursing other people with, some serious health issues sometimes. And you know that it can be from the foods that you eat. A lot of people would say, why don't you have flowers? Why don't you grow a little garden? And I just refused to do it, y'all. I just did not want to have anything to do with any flowers in the yard. I had probably the boringest yard that there ever was because I didn't want to have anything to do with it. I pretty much would unalive every plant that I touched because I just, I think I didn't water it or something. So let's move forward several years when I became the nurse and decided that psychiatric nursing was the type of nursing that I wanted to do. Now, as a psychiatric nurse, you are kind of, I want to say, locked in to a unit with patients all day, minimum 12 hours a day, minimum 3 days a week, depending upon the type of job that you have. I actually was helping to manage the unit at one time, and I was the interim manager for a while, for many months. So I was on the unit at least 5 days a week at that point. And you see patients come, you see patients go, you see the same patients being a vicious cycle, and you tend to take on the problems of those patients. Now, that is not good when you can't leave your job and come home and have a normal family life at home. I could not stop thinking about the patients and their treatment plans and how I needed to approach their treatment. It was just one of those things that I said made me a good psychiatric nurse, because I wanted the best for those patients. Our nurses never said anything out of the way when they walked through the door. They had compassion and understanding. And that was just kind of the requirement on our unit, that just because it was a psychiatric unit did not mean that those patients were treated any differently from any other patient, let's say with a heart condition. They had a mind condition. And, it could be depression, anxiety, schizophrenia, drug abuse. There are many things that come through the psychiatric units. Well, I had to have some kind of a getaway, some kind of relief from the whole psych thing. You can't go to work on a unit like that and not take on the problems of the world and it affect your mentality. So I needed some form of therapy in my life that I could come home to every day. So I migrated to something that I knew. Now, I told you I wanted nothing to do with growing. So it stayed in the back of my mind for many, many years. And then at this point in my life, I needed that. God had already given me what I needed. God gave me the earth to use when I needed it. And I needed it. Y'all, I couldn't have done it without it. So I lived in a different area. I had not bought the farm yet. And I lived in a totally different area. And matter of fact, I lived in a subdivision. We only had 1 acre of land, including what the house sat on. So I went into the backyard and I looked and I decided there's where the garden's going to be. So I started planting. I started growing right there in the backyard. And then Tony had built me a pergola, and it had like concrete under it so that we could have like some patio furniture and a barbecue grill, stuff like that. Well, I decided that I wanted it to be enclosed in a jungle. So I started planting flowers and plants around this pergola. And I'm telling you, that was my first experience as an adult in planting some plants. It almost got out of hand. There was nothing that was safe around me. I started growing vegetables, and I would have some really big tomatoes. And, these seeds I was getting from, the big box stores, and they weren't really good seeds. So I would try and try and try again. Or I may go and get starts already started from, the big box store and put them in the ground. And it just became a daily thing for me. I would come home from work from the unit, and after I got dressed in some older clothes, I would go outside and I would start planting something. So I termed this my dirt therapy, and that's what I started calling it. So every day I would go home to my dirt therapy, And I would grow and I would grow and I would grow and grow some more. And I was running out of room. So when we decided about 4 years ago that we were going to buy this land, the only thing I could see in my mind's eye was the number of vegetables I could have, the foods that I could grow here. And then I just reverted back to that little country girl from years and years ago that grew up on this farm. And I just saw myself in a whole different light. And I knew when I got here on this farm, I was home. This was all the therapy that I needed in my life. I was home. The feel of the dirt in my fingers did more for me than anything that I could watch on TV or any medicines that you could take. Do I take any antidepressants or anti-anxiety medication? No, not at all. This is it. This is my medication. Y'all, I probably am a little too happy. But every time I come out here, every time I touch the tender leaves of a plant, or I put my fingers in the dirt, or I get a scoop of dirt, all I have to do is look at this. I am so overwhelmed with joy in my life. There is nothing that brings me down when I'm in here. It is the most amazing feeling of all. Y'all, I can look down the rows of vegetables and just know that I'm going to be eating the vegetables that my hands grew. Every time I put my hands in the dirt, I know that a meal is provided just by simply touching the dirt, touching a tiny seed in my hands. It's just amazing to know that God has allowed me to supply food for my family, that He has provided what I need for joy in my life. Do I ever get sad? Well, yeah, I get sad and I get overwhelmed. But when I do, y'all, I remember I have dirt therapy. I can come out here at any point in my day and put my hands in this dirt and grow something. Now, I know you're right now thinking, but I can't do that because I live in a tiny apartment, or I live in town, or I don't have access to those things. I don't have a greenhouse to grow in. Well, you don't need all those things. You need a windowsill and a plastic cup, like a red Solo cup or a clear cup or whatever you can buy from the Dollar Tree. Ask for cups for Christmas. Ask for some potting soil, or just go outside and dig you up some dirt. I mean, what's better than this, y'all? What is better than this? Nothing. A pack of seeds. Get a 99-cent pack of seeds from the Dollar Tree or Dollar General or wherever the big box stores that you use, and plant something and watch it grow. And tell me you don't feel joy from watching that grow. It is the most amazing feeling every time I come out here to do something in this greenhouse, to grow something, or to harvest something. So today, I will be harvesting more of these collards. Now, I have been harvesting and I have been putting in the freezer and then letting them grow some more. And just look at the size of that leaf. I mean, my goodness, is that not the best? Look at the broccoli. How amazing is this? So every time I come out here to harvest and to put a bag of collard greens in the freezer, I find joy. So y'all, this is my dirt therapy. Not only here, but over in the lazy garden. You've seen me many times in the lazy garden planting and enjoying the time that I have out here. Is it hard work? Yes, it's hard work in here and over there, but it's joyful work, and it is my dirt therapy. Do I need a therapist? No. I have every bit of therapist that I need right here in the dirt. This is my happy place. Let's go see some animals. I love you. You see that mic, don't you? I love you. I got other lovies coming up. Hey, Sophie. Hey, Sophie. Where is Yeti? Oh, here comes the Peer Paw, and here comes Goldie. She wants to see what's going on. Hey, Go-Go. Hey, Go-Go. Hey, Go-Go. You see the camera? Y'all, she is the sweetest thing. Now, the animals have already been fed today. I've already fed today, and they are just going to be noisy because I'm not going to feed them again to hush them up. I just kind of wanted to come out here and play with them for a minute. Sweet Yeti, Sweet Yeti. Every day when I come out here, Sweet Yeti is covered in some kind of poop. He's covered in some kind of poop. He is, but he is the sweetest, y'all. She is too. Goldie is too. You are sweet, Go-Go. You are sweet, Go-Go. What do you got hanging out of your mouth? Ooh. You drumming at me? Huh? Are you drumming? My sweet Go-Go drumming at me? Who could not love a face like that? It's a face only a mother could love. Is that it? Look at the hairdo. You got some hair. Hey. Hey. Helen. Now, Helen can get a little bit rough. She just is so lovable. She doesn't know that she's big. She thinks she's the size of a puppy. And, of course, Gus thinks he owns the barn, so he's going to be noisy. You like that ear scratch? You like that ear scratch, Helen? I have the best animals ever, y'all. They are just the best. You're a little heavy there, girlfriend. Where is your beautiful bride? Ugh, I just got calf slobber. Who doesn't love a calf tongue, huh? Who doesn't love that? And Sophie and Yeti. There are the boys. They are all comfortable. Oh, Helen, what are y'all doing? Nope, y'all have plenty of feed. Y'all have feed in your feeder, and you have some scratch on the ground. So you guys just need to go lay an egg. Go lay an egg. you go crow somewhere. And Harold, you go do your thing. You puff up and go find Tawanda. Y'all, I can't say enough about Go-Go. Isn't she beautiful? Isn't she beautiful? She doesn't always like to be touched. Oh, you're around here in the mess. Okay, I see. I get you. And there's Nellie over there. And y'all, I have several people that tell me in about every video that I never show the goats anymore. And I really don't, because I normally am videoing, I'm filthy now, I'm normally videoing back here at the barn, and I don't video over here at the pasture that's at the mini barn. But doesn't mean I don't love them. I just don't have my camera when I come over here with them. So let's go see these little fat chunks. Sophie is teaching him well, y'all. Is he not beautiful? That Yeti is an amazing puppy. And she is the master. She is the teacher. She is the one who calls him Grasshopper. Let's go see the fat goats. I got to bring them another roll of hay in here, but they still have quite a bit. It's still about knee high to me over there. And I will bring it and do it at the same time that I take another one to the steers and Nellie over there. And we will do that probably this weekend just to get them kind of a stockpile ahead. We're finally getting a little bit of grass back in here. There's still some grass in the second pasture over there. We're about to start the pond fence project. Now, the pond fence is going to allow more of the animals to enjoy the pond. Some pretty good grass over there in the summertime. There's none right now. Of course, there's none anywhere right now. It's still all so dry. We're in this drought. But they can get in the pond and enjoy that, as well as the other pasture over here that has some foliage in it still, some briars and stuff like that. Because it's been warm, we've got a little grass that is coming up here, and you probably can't see that on camera, but I've been feeding them grain and hay now for several weeks. And oh, there's some good grass coming up over there next to the other hay feeder. But they for sure have not missed a meal. These are some chunky little fellas. And there's Candace, sweet Candace, that we raised on a bottle. She's Daisy's baby, and she still does not know she's a goat. And sweet Daisy, of course. Daisy, sweet Daisy. Now, this is April, and Maple, and Sugar. To each their own. I judge nobody for what they do, but I only breed my nanny goats for milking purposes, because I want them to be freshened occasionally just to get goat's milk to make soap for the homestead here, for the farm. And I still have goat's milk that I freeze dried, and that's what I will use for a while. So honestly, y'all, I don't think that I will be breeding my nanny goats. I don't even have a billy goat here anymore. Hut is in a pasture with about 20 nannies right now, having the time of his life, I'm sure. And he went with a friend of mine, and he's happy there. So he'll probably be staying for a lot longer. And these ladies here, I probably will not breed them again, because I just don't want to put them through that unnecessarily. And they're happy. They're fat and happy. Plus, not to mention, you don't want to, when you don't have grass growing good, and you have to feed hay and grain all winter long, starting very early in the year, you don't want to put yourself in a bind and have to finance that much hay and grain. And you don't want to put the goats in a bind. And, you know, it's just one of those situations where you've got to look at what you can manage and what you can't manage. And right now we have 7 goats. Those goats will continue to live here on G&G Farms, but we probably will not be breeding them again for a while. They will not be having babies this next year. And because I've got plenty of freeze-dried milk in bags in there, don't need the milk, so I'm not going to, I'm just not going to increase the herd this time. I'm not going to let them breed this season. So in the spring, there will be no goat birth videos. So now I have a whole new row of the flash collards done, right down to the kale. So as you can see, I still have quite a few starts left. So I have another row over here where the pink eye purple hull peas were. And I am going to redo the drip tape over here to be the right kind of drip tape and plant those over here. So in a month, I'll have more collards to harvest. So today, we're about to harvest some of those collards over there and get them in the freezer. I'm giving you guys all the therapy that you can handle for one day. So I'm going to try to do this one-handed so that I can show you what I do and then put the camera down. But I just go to each plant and I find the biggest leaves and I snip them off and put them in my basket. That allows the rest of the collard plant to produce more leaves, and it will, because after I cut them last time, here are some new leaves that are coming out. So I can use these same plants and harvest over and over and over again. So today I will take these other 3 big leaves and I will leave these. Next week, these will be this size with some more smaller ones coming out. It's just plain science, really. And I will harvest, and you can see, since my last harvest, I have really big leaves to harvest again. So I'm going to harvest this entire row of collards today and put them in the freezer. And next week, when I come back out here, there will be more leaves. And hopefully, in a month, maybe if that long, I will have 2 or 3 more rows of collards over there to harvest. Plus, look y'all, the cabbage is going nuts. The cabbage and the kale is going nuts too. But, and by that time, hopefully, we will have some red tomatoes that I can harvest and get to canning. So, over the winter time, I should have broccoli, collards, some more peas in the freezer, some canned tomatoes, some cabbage that I will probably make some chow chow out of. I love chow chow. More collards to harvest. Some peppers over there. I should have my freezers either pretty much full of vegetables, or we will just be eating on the vegetables that we harvest this winter. So let me get to harvesting some of the collards here and let you guys see how it looks. Now, yes, I have dirt under my fingernails, but it's therapy, y'all. That dirt is therapy. Every little grain of sand is therapy. And it will be clean by the time I start putting this stuff in the freezer. So let's just get started with some harvesting here. Okay guys, I have got a basket of collard greens, but you can see there are plenty left. Now those leaves are a little bit smaller. They are bigger than my hand, but they are smaller than the big leaves that I just harvested. And I'm just going to let them grow for a week and then come back and harvest. Right now, I need to turn the big fan on because it's warming up inside the greenhouse. It is cloudy outside, but the humidity is just crazy in here. So, as you can see, I'm beginning to break a sweat. So I'm going to turn on the fan. I'm going to turn it on medium and blow some cool air in here. But I am going to take these collard greens in the house, get them stripped off the stalk, cut up, blanch them, and put them in the freezer in bags. And cook a little bit for tonight's supper, because who doesn't need collard greens and cornbread for dinner? I know that I do. So I'm going to get busy and y'all farm on.